So we just kind of wanted to sit down with you because I know you don't do a whole lot of interviews, but I know a lot of people are interested in how you're doing and what is the role of the First Lady? How has it been for you being in that position?
Well, it's been an honor, obviously, to serve the people of Wisconsin as far as being the First Lady, but it also is a lot of fun. I have a great time. I have a great staff that really helps me plan some fun events, and I get to travel a little bit, and so it's really been a great experience.
Not the first few months may not have been as fun as it is right now, though.
I would say there was about a year that was probably not that much fun, but I think it's made us realize what this position entails and what goes along with it, and sometimes it's not always about what we would want, but it's about the circumstances that happened and how they came about, and sure, it was a tough year. I'm not going to lie and say that it wasn't. It was, but we're over that and we're moving forward, and we're trying to enjoy every single minute that we have here. So,
how was it as a family to get through those times? I know I was out there the night the protesters were outside your house in Wauwatosa. You and your sons, I think, had left for the night knowing what was going to happen.
Well, you know, as a family, I think we always were close. I mean, I hate to say that we got closer, but we talked about it, but we didn't bring it home. It wasn't like people always said, well, when you came home, were you able to kind of deal with that with the boys? And really, we didn't discuss the recall at home. There were so many other things, you know, football, school, now with graduation coming up, and that it was Matthew's graduation during that time, and so now it's Alex's. And so, you know, we tried to stay with family and friends and be surrounded by them, and to be surrounded by people who supported us, and it really did help a lot.
There had to have been some tough moments during the recall race, though.
I mean, there were pockets of times that were really tough. Obviously, when it first started, it was very difficult because I didn't understand it, just like probably some other people in Wisconsin didn't understand what was happening, and so that was very difficult. I think, you know, I wanted to experience Madison when I got here and wasn't able to do that because I wasn't able to go out in the community. Just for security reasons, it wasn't possible. So I missed all that first year of really getting to know this place that I wanted to see, that I've heard about before time, and so that was difficult. I don't know if there's one particular point that was really that I can pinpoint, but it was just kind of living with stress for a whole year, and after it was over, it was like, oh, that was really stressful. You know, it was, and now you can tell the difference. We're not under that as much stress as we were then. So
I remember that frigid day in Hart Park in January when you came out. Your sons were there, and the crowd, you just warmed up the crowd.
Well, that's funny because, you know, if you know me, I'm not someone that's going to get up there and start shouting about something. And when I look back on the tape, I find myself shouting, which nobody ever looks good on camera shouting, so don't shout. I think I must just have felt the moment. And there's a couple of other times when Scott won the election and I was at Waukesha, I look at that tape and I find myself shouting again on there, and I think it just must have been the moment, and it just took me and just moved me to participate and kind of just say, yeah, we won, we did it, it's over with, now let's move on, kind of thing. So.
Because I think something I've read about you that a lot of people probably don't know is you're not particularly political. Has that changed in the last couple of years?
I don't think it's changed at all, because I will be asked questions, or people will ask me to do things that are political, and I'll be like, well, I really don't know about the topic. I'm not that informed about the issue, so I really don't want to be involved in that. And so you're right, I'm not that political, although I don't know how you can't be with living with somebody for 20 years. I think people think that that's probably not true, but there's a whole other side of our life that has to keep moving and keep going. And if we talked about politics all the time, I just can't imagine what that would be like.
So take me to the night of the recall election. It was just over a year ago. What emotions were you going through that day as voting had started, and then into the night when you'd realized that your husband had won again?
Well, unlike the first election, earlier in the day we had probably thought somewhere along the way that, oh, I think we're going to win. With the recall election, there was no way of telling that, so you had to wait until the evening that it happened. So during the day, I was talking, you talk to yourself and your kids, and I'm getting everybody ready, go either way. We're just going to accept this. We're going to move on. It's what the people wanted. We talked about winning. We talked about losing. What will we do next? And then as the night got, it was actually, I just read a piece of paper that said it took 49 minutes to hear that Scott had won. We were so ready to be there all night and to hunker down and just wait, and my girlfriends were all there with me and their families, and we were in this little area together. And I remember Scott coming through the door, and he had this grin on his face, and I'm thinking, what is he up to now? And I looked over and he said, we won. And I was like, I really didn't believe it. I was just like, what? And he said, we won. And my girlfriend said, if you don't kiss him and hug him, I'm going to do it first. And so it was like kind of just, after that, it was it. It was over. I don't think we ever expected it to be as quick as it was, and actually how well it was for us. So it was a good victory. We had a good night. We all went back to the hotel room, just the four of us, and we just kind of were silly. The boys were silly. I was goofy. We watched ourselves on TV. We just celebrated together alone, so it was great. But it was weird to be back in our room by midnight because we thought we wouldn't be home till 4 in the morning.
So how has life changed in the last year from the first year your husband was in office?
Well, I think now I feel like I can be more myself. I don't have to worry about everything I say or do, only because I don't want to. I don't know who's supportive and who's not. I think now I feel more comfortable with the role. I know my initiatives. I know what I want to do. My staff knows what I like. So I think it's just it's more of a lifestyle now than last year. I think I looked at it as it was a job, and this it's kind of like, well, this isn't too bad. I can handle this. So
is it perhaps because you weren't feeling that pressure of the looming recall race?
Well, I think that might have had a little to do with it, but I think it takes a while to find yourself in this position because it's so unique. You have there's 52 other, well, maybe they aren't all married governors, so you have a resource to go to, but you can't really compare it to anybody else's job in the state. So,
which is good. You've been able to do a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Can you talk me through? You've done a lot with Walker. I know you do a lot with foster care programs.
I do something called, I put together a group called Fostering Futures, and there are 9 community leaders that have come together to talk about something called trauma-informed care and kind of make Wisconsin the leader in trauma-informed services. And so we've been working on that. We have a grant that we received, and I have an employee that works on that, and we are just moving forward across the state with that. So that's really my big initiative, and that has something to do with foster kids and families. It's not just the kids, but the families that we work with. And then I get to do a lot of nice, little neat things. Today I'm off to give a Heroes Award, and every month I give an award out to somebody who has no idea that I'm coming. I usually walk in, and then after I'm about to leave, they say, "Who are you again now?" And so now we read the nomination. You can go online and nominate someone in Wisconsin, a volunteer that's doing above and beyond. And these are some individuals who ask for no recognition at all. So it is wonderful to see them react to somebody presenting them with an award. So, and I'm always involved in Teen Challenge. this year Mrs. Bush is coming to town, and she's our guest speaker, our keynote speaker, so it's great.
So how are the boys doing?
The boys are great. We having them both off to college next year, Scott and I. I actually think we're kind of excited about that. We try not to let them know, but I think it'll be interesting for us. You know, we've been splitting our time between here and Wauwatosa. We're gonna make a shift, and Scott and I will move to Madison now, and the boys will, are going to be off to college on their own, and as much as that, whatever that means at 18 years old, that they're on their own. But it'll be nice. I think we'll enjoy it. Yeah, they're good. We just had a group of the friends here, the last kind of hurrah here at the lake before they head on to their separate ways. So I'll miss the kids. We've been friends with them since kindergarten, all their families and friends, and so I think that's going to be more of an adjustment than them being gone out of the house.
Not having to feed a bunch of teenage boys every day.
And, just having the families all with football and the things that they were involved in. So,
do you see either one of your sons getting into politics?
I would have said a year ago, I would have told you absolutely not. But Matthew went to Badger Boys State and really had a wonderful experience there. He's studying political science at school. I think the recall, to be honest with you, had a lot to do with it. He started paying attention. It wasn't just Dad's job anymore. It was more of what was going on in the state and how it was all playing through. It really changed him and affected him a lot more than our son Alex.
Governor Christie was in town campaigning for your husband, and I know he said that his daughter wanted to come along because she wanted to hang out with your sons.
Yeah, well, I think that the governor should stop talking about that because it's neither one of them, girl or boy, really. They know each other a tiny bit from NGA, but that's about it. Yeah.
So what is something about your husband that you don't think people know that maybe they should?
Oh, wow. I get asked that a lot. I've already trying to think. Because obviously everybody knows everything about him. We're kind of an open book. I've said this before, so I don't want to say it again. I don't know. I think.
What about you?
No.
I think people don't know as much about you as they obviously do about your husband.
Well, they can go to my website and find out everything about me. I don't know. I can't answer that one. I don't know. Either one of them. I mean, we are such an open book, and we're so normal, and we're just. I mean, I often get, you're so normal. As I'm walking out the door, you're just so normal. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? Aren't you just yourself? Shouldn't you just be yourself? You can't be something you're not. So I think that's what I think for both of us, Scott and I, if you just had 5 minutes with us, you'd realize that, well, gee, they're just like anybody else.
You guys are just the parents. I know we've done a lot of stories with you guys at the football games or wherever.
It is. And I was making breakfast for the kids. We had 16 of them here this morning, and I was making breakfast, and I was actually thinking, I bet you this will be the last one I ever make. And so I got a little nervous, and they were all sitting there watching it. I said, you guys, go away, because I can't cook now, because you're just watching everything I'm doing. And in the end, it was great. And I was just thinking, boy, because, we had talked last night to them about where are they all going, what are they all doing, they all have big dreams, and so who knows what'll happen. So yeah, I just feel normal. It's just a big white house that I get to cook in instead of, my Wauwatosa home,
So I'm guessing you and your husband have talked a little bit about the future. There's a campaign team already in place for him to run for re-election. Is that something you're looking forward to?
I think so. I don't think you can really do everything you want in one term. So hopefully the people of Wisconsin will realize that Scott's, has their best interest in mind, and so I'm assuming that he's going to run again. He didn't officially come to me and say, honey, do you want to run again? I'm assuming that he is, and that would be fine with me. It would be great. We're just getting started in everything, and so it would be wonderful to continue that work.
And what about the presidency? A lot of people have rumored, will he or won't he run?
Yeah. Well, I think it's flattering to hear that, that your husband is considered in this small group of people who want to be president someday. But you know, we don't. I know people don't believe this, but we don't talk about it. It's not. I don't think it's something you do talk about. So, you know, we're both focused on Wisconsin, and I think everyone else around us is more interested in what the future would hold. And if you know us, we kind of leave that in God's hands, and we kind of hope that He directs us in some way in the right direction. And so it's I don't know what the future will hold for anything like that. All I know is that Wisconsin is where we live and want to be, and you know, we want to do our best here. So.